Play ball?
Let's do it. Good afternoon, it's Robert and Julia Miller with Rethink Real Estate with another exciting real estate update.
Exciting and thrilling. We're looking at January statistics.
Guess what time it is?
Time to play ball.
Spring training.
Oh yeah.
All right, taking in a game this afternoon, so we wanted to get this review knocked out before we headed to the ballpark.
Before we go play. It's fine Friday afternoon.
That's right. Want to tell us a little bit about ourselves?
I was noticing your Cubs
and the
wear
Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, both spring training teams.
Not who we're seeing.
Neither of which
play.
we're seeing today, but this is the apparel
Angels
I have.
and the Padres.
Yeah.
The Cubs is our favorite team, and Diamondbacks is too. So, yeah. So we're Robert and Julia Miller. If you don't know, we make videos periodically. We used to say weekly. This time of year, it kind of slows down to monthly. Just busy with real estate, thank God. Yeah, we hope these real estate videos help you, bring you news, bring clarity to the news and the headlines that you see. This is our 131st update that we've been doing. Started these videos back in the pandemic days, so didn't have much else to do. So we started this little hobby. And so we are finally at 200 viewers or subscribers.
All right.
Many more viewers, but 200 subscribers. So if you've not yet subscribed and you're just a viewer, take a moment to subscribe down below. It really helps our channel. It helps get this news out to more people.
All right, let's get cracking. Today we're going to look at the January statistics here in the Valley. We'll touch on federal just a little bit, but primarily we're going to focus on what happened in the month of January.
Right.
All right, starting with sold listings and we're going to look at 12-month, and we're going to look. That is the best metric to look at is year over year. So how does this compare to 12 months ago? That gives you the best view of what's really going on in the Valley and how it compares.
Yeah.
There's some seasonality issues that are involved when you only look back 6 months, 3 months, 9 months. So 12 months works out best.
Yeah.
All right, so we're basically flat for sold listings. We were actually up 0.24 for listings sold. Yeah, so it's from last year this time.
Yeah, okay.
We've been in this slow market for over a year now, and I think that's going to play out in what we're seeing in new listings a little bit.
Okay.
We're probably pushing 2 years now, aren't we? Really?
Yeah.
Realistically.
Year and a half.
Year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah.
So if we look at new listings from a year ago, again, we're comparing apples to apples, January to January.
Right.
We are up 18%. So we have a nice, healthy supply of inventory for you buyers out there.
Yes. Yeah.
What I'm seeing, sellers have been dug in for a year ago, or not listing their home because multiple reasons. Things were flat, things were slow, and many of them were in a very nice low interest rate and didn't want to throw that out the window to get a new home at a much higher rate. But I think this number speaks volumes in that we're starting to see sellers going, okay, this is starting to look more like the new normal. We've been going on 2 years now, and it hasn't changed.
The new normal.
So
coin that phrase. Right?
Yeah, sellers are accepting that, and then of course the $1 million question is going to be: are buyers going to also follow suit?
And I think they will once we get below 7%. And some buyers are just going to go ahead and buy and just refinance.
There's always the refinance option if you're in a position where you just have to move forward. So, nice uptick in the number of homes listed is the bottom line.
That is nice. Yep. Increase in listings.
Looking at active listings overall, that was new listings, this is active listings overall, we're actually down 2.20, but basically flat. Again, we're going to see going throughout this, we're going to see a lot of flatlining, and that's one of the statistics, is that overall the active listings we're down a little bit. Okay, under contract, again, we're actually down 4.23. New listings are up, so again, will buyers start to accept that 2020 and through 2022 is gone, and this is the new normal.
Yeah.
Sellers seem to have, will buyers follow suit? I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Nothing.
I felt like I interrupted you there.
That's okay, sorry. Just trying to throw in some comments here and there.
Okay. Month supply of inventory, basically stable. It's down a little bit, 2.44%, but we're sitting at about 3.46 months supply of inventory. New listing prices, we are actually up 10%. That's not the sold price, keep in mind, that's just what they get listed for. And we're going to talk about what homes actually sell for, that ratio that we kind of glaze over it and just kind of touch on it because it's always so similar, but there is one important aspect that we need to look at this time. So we're up 10% on the price of new listings. Now the actual average sold is up 9.23. The median is up 4.13. Probably a number that we want to look closer at is the 4.13.
And now that's sold price. The other one was list price.
That was the list price.
Yeah, make that very clear. You'll see the headline saying prices are up 10% or 18% or whatever the percentage is that you'll see. Well, let's look actually at sold prices, because people can put their house on the market for whatever they want. You know, they can name their price.
Say it's worth $1 million.
What the market actually says it's worth could be very different. So that's what Robert's kind of talking to there.
Exactly. Okay, so the average days on market, it is down 13.75%.
Year over year?
Yep, year over year.
Interesting.
This can have a lot of factors, and Tom Ruff of the information market touched on it he doesn't put a lot of weight on this because there's a lot of factors that can game the number, as he calls it, you know, based on when you actually list it, when you report it sold, and it can kind of throw that off. So he doesn't put a lot of value in that. He doesn't think it means a whole lot. But we'll report it anyway because some people want to know, well, how long am I going to have to wait before I get a contract? Well, that's the number.
Yeah.
So
well, and you hear people say, or headlines, again, I'm going to reference headlines. You know, headlines are saying that houses are sitting on the market. Well, it depends on the market. It depends on how people are pricing their homes. Depends on a lot of things, and it also depends on whether a listing is put in pending status versus under contract accepting backups. And that's what Robert's alluding to, is sometimes there are different statuses, and some of them continue that clock. Others, like pending, pause the clock on days on market. So
yep, a lot of different ways to game the number. Okay, so moving on to commentary, and one thing people are probably wondering sometimes is, where do these statistics come from? We look at two different trusted sources here in the Valley. We look at Tom Ruff's information market, his commentary that comes out once a month, and then we also look at Comfort Report, Michael Orr's group with Tina Tambier. We watch her summary once a month as well. So those are the two trusted sources that we use. For this one, the information market and the stat report, as it's called, they have their in-house product called Rapid Stats, but all that information comes directly out of the MLS. So it's very black and white on what happened, what the numbers are, and it's a very good, reliable, consistent uninfluenced. Let's put it that way. It's an
Uninfluenced.
uninfluenced source of information.
True black and white.
And that's what
See
we
the
like
numbers.
about it. It's just black and white numbers.
Right. So what do the numbers tell us?
Exactly. Okay, so looking at sold listings, we looked at the raw number. Now let's look at the average price per square foot was up 6.41% year over year, while the median price per square foot was up 5.61%. So a little bit below what the average was, but a lot of people go by square foot. You know, how much does it cost you per square foot? So. Sales volume is greatly influenced by seasonal patterns. That's something also, another reason why we look at the January to January. January consistently reports the fewest sales within any given year. For this very reason, the 12-month previous metric offers the most meaningful comparison. This January sales volume was nearly identical to last year. So again, we're starting to see this flattening out where things aren't changing very much, and again, that seems to be prompting sellers to get off the fence and list their homes a little bit. So.
Yeah, January kind of kicks off the high season, as we call it, one of our busiest seasons of the year.
Right.
Or the busiest season of the year. But it's kind of a slow start, January is.
Yep. Well, this year's sales volume in January was up 0.1%, essentially flat. It could be argued that year-over-year sales were down slightly. Higher mortgage rates have affected affordability and in turn demand. And we've been talking about this endlessly.
Yeah. And you'll hear a lot of talk about affordability right now. I mean, affordability. It stinks. Inflation, you know. So.
Yep. Higher mortgage rates, we're just hoping to see an improvement in higher mortgage rates, and I think that will definitely push buyers into getting off the fence and moving forward a little bit more.
Probably won't happen though, do you think, until second quarter?
Yeah, they got some unfavorable results last month. Or earlier this month from the CPI, it was a little bit surprising compared to what they expected. They expected it to creep under 3, and it actually stayed at 3.1. So that kind of put the kibosh on any thoughts of the Fed lowering the interest rate. So it looks like we're going to push it off for another quarter.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And they meet again this month, right, in March?
I think so, but I don't expect anything to happen. I think we're looking at May. Probably April or May.
Okay.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
So where are we at on this? These numbers over the last 2 decades? Only 2008 saw a lower sales volume. So affordability does matter, and everybody remembers 2008 was the kickoff of the crash.
Yeah, there was no affordability in the start of 2008 anyway.
Okay, there is a seasonality as to when new listings appear on the MLS, with fewer sellers wanting to list their homes over the holidays. So we do see a taper off the month of January, and it seems to take a little while to get rolling. The rule of thumb is when the Super Bowl kicks off, that's when the season actually starts, and we start seeing sales going.
It's kind of funny. We joke about it, but it's true.
It's true. Yeah. New listings were up a healthy 18%. We talked about that. Supply matters, and we are to see a rise in overall supply. We'll likely see a rise in new listings first. So this is just the beginning of what we hope is an improving market. This is the first step of it.
Yeah, it seems like sellers have got a little bit of hope, and buyers are hoping for hope.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, you know.
Acceptance, I think, is the word.
Yeah.
We're going to accept this is the market.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I guess I'm just reflecting back to the Cromford market report, and she feels like
she
we're
has an
starting
emotional
out.
graph.
Yeah,
the emotional graph.
cycle of the
hope, right?
Hope is where we're at.
We're at hope. Yeah. Okay, for active listings, and that excludes under contract contingents. So we're taking those out. It's just be pending. Current year-over-year supply numbers are remarkably similar. So we're pretty much flat on the active listings under contract. Let me take that back. Let me see. Currently, year-over-year supply numbers are remarkably similar. We talked about that previously. Under contract, and that does include pending, and contingent. Under contract listings are down 4.5%, which we talked about at the very beginning. So we'll see if we see an improvement in that in February.
Yeah.
Month supply and absorption rate. These are two interesting measurements that we kind of blaze over usually because it doesn't change much, but there is something.
So yeah, explain absorption rate.
Yeah, number one, what is absorption rate? Well, absorption rate is a term used in real estate to describe the speed homes sell in a specific market at a specific time frame. Okay. So basically, the absorption rate equals the average number of sales per month divided by the total number of available properties.
Okay.
And that gives you your absorption rate of how fast things are selling.
Sounds a little like the Cromford Market Index.
Yeah, somewhat.
To me.
So, to put that into terms, a high absorption rate means there's a high demand for homes and that homes don't stay on the market for very long.
Right.
So obviously we, in 2020 through 2022, we experienced an extremely high absorption rate. A market with an absorption rate at or above 20%, and Tom has a slightly different opinion on that. He feels it's 25%, is in our area anyway, is typically called a seller's market, whereas an absorption rate below 15% signals a buyer's market.
So who is this speaking then? And if it's not Tom, it's Andrew Dehan?
Yes, Andrew Dehan on behalf of
Mortgage.
Rocket Mortgage. Sorry,
Okay.
I got to make sure I give credit where credit is due.
I just thought that was a Tom Ruff thing, but it's not.
Well, he talks about it here
reflecting
in
on
a
it.
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe through observation an absorption rate of 25% is a better metric by defining a balanced market within our marketplace.
Okay.
And that makes sense. Different parts of the country are going to be different when you're looking at this number.
For sure. Yeah.
I would define 20% as a buyer's market here.
Okay.
Instead of 15%. So,
Okay.
as reported on February 26, our current absorption rate is 28.86. So that puts us in a slightly favorable seller's market.
Yeah.
As Tina calls it, a baby seller's market.
Baby seller's market. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I think it would be more of a seller's market if we had more supply, but we just don't. So sellers have a little bit of upper hand,
but we're seeing a change in that with a 16% increase in new listings. So we'll see how that affects it.
Right.
Okay. In this market, it's important to compare sold price not only to current list price, but original list price as well. You've probably heard us say, okay, buyers, you can expect to pay 97% of the list price.
Yeah.
And there was times at the peak of the 2020 through 2022 that we're actually at 101% of list price. So buyers could expect to pay more than what the home was listed for.
101 point something. It was funny,
we've come all the way back down where we really need to look at not only what is that list price at time it goes under contract compared to what it sells for, which is what we normally measure. We really need to go back and look at what did it originally get listed at.
Right.
Because we're seeing sellers have to be more aggressive and do price cuts, multiple price cuts. The longer it stays on the market, that we're seeing reductions. So,
and I will sing your praise a little bit on that note, just because I feel like you have a really good metrics and way of looking at an area's previous sold prices and really comparing apples to apples as far as the home itself goes, and saying, okay, so looking at today's market and what's sold recently, here's what you can expect to get from your home on the market. And I feel like you have a really good track record for projecting that price.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so with that being said, closed listings are reporting 95% of their original list price versus the number we would normally report, which is 98%
Which
of
is
their
still
final
really
list
good.
price.
Really good.
Yeah, but you know, that's 3%. That's not that's quite a bit of coin.
Yeah.
You know, so when you look at buyers, what can you expect, and sellers, what can you expect to actually sell it for? So it's something we'll kind of keep an eye on, and we'll look at that a little bit closer than we have in the past.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
because sometimes you do have a way of starting a home on the market at an introductory price, you know? Let's start this. This is really what I'd like to get, but we'll try the market kind of thing.
Okay, sold listing summary. Again, we've talked about this in this when we went over the chart, but the average home price is up 9.26 year over year, and the median is up 4.13. We talked about that previously.
Yep.
Translation: the median home price, as reported by Armless, is expected to rise from today's median of 430,000 to 445,000 by mid-March.
Mid-March.
So that's
there's a prediction, everyone. Mid-March, home prices to increase
by 15,000 if this on average.
by mid-March.
Or by median, yeah.
So that's within 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, on the federal level, this is funny. On February 2nd, Puxatawny Phil's was pulled from a stump and didn't see his shadow, which means he's predicting an early spring. On February 13th, the Federal Reserve pulled their CPI data from a stump and saw its shadow, predicting mortgage rates would rise in the next hour.
The next hour.
And they literally did.
They did. Oh man,
it's amazing.
Tom Ruff is hilarious.
Yeah, but it's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
The Fed speaks and everything jumps.
Yeah, reacts.
So on the heels of consumer prices rising more than expected, mortgage rates increased this week, said Sam Cater, Freddie Mac's chief economist. The economy has been performing well so far this year, and rates may stay higher for longer. Not what we wanted to hear. Potentially slowing the spring home buying season. So again, this is where I'm predicting that we're really probably looking at May.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay.
According to our data, mortgage applications to buy a home so far in 2024 are down in more than half of all states compared to a year earlier. So it's not just here in the Valley, but it is over half the states in the United States.
So I may be asking this question prematurely, but what do you think we will see once the February numbers are in or are finalized?
I think it's too soon. I think they're going to be flat. Myself, I think we're going to see the
Okay.
same thing. I think we're going to have to see
Maybe that little rise of 0.01 or 0.1%.
Maybe when we review April's numbers in May.
April's numbers in May. Okay.
But for sure, I think we're going to see the biggest change in probably 2 years when we read the May results in June.
Wow. Okay.
You heard it here first,
You
folks.
heard it here first.
Okay, in conclusion, January historically has the lowest sales volume of any month during the year. We talked about why with the holidays and everything. Armless home buying selling season starts when the Super Bowl kicks off. So I'm not the only one with that opinion. This year it was ushered in at halftime. Get it? Ushered.
Yeah, I get it. Ushered. Yeah.
Yeah. We enter our season with very similar metrics to what we saw last year. The wild card again this year for what will be the third year in a row, interest rates.
Interest rates.
All right. So
You
again,
heard it here first.
for how the numbers roll out as far as for what it's worth, we're anticipating February's home closings, as reported by Armless, to be in the 5,500 range. So that's still pretty darn low, but
Yeah, it's very low. Yeah.
flat comparatively. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay. All right, that is your stat report reviewing the January results. We will bring the Crawford report to you. When does that come out?
I'm thinking it's still, I think it's the second Tuesday, second Monday. I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, so a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll bring you the Crawford report review in a couple of weeks. And then again, the stat report next month. Let's see how these numbers are playing out here in the Valley.
How February shaped up. Yeah.
All right, enjoy spring training and have a blessed rest of the week.
Enjoy the weather.
We will talk to you again real soon.
See you soon.